All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Workbench. Super stoked to be joined by someone who I've been connected with on Twitter, going back and forth a little bit for a while now, but excited to really dive deep into his agency, House Pro Digital. And that's Ian Cushing, the co founder of House Pro Digital, formerly owned a cleaning company and then parlayed a lot of the marketing learnings from that cleaning company into supporting other home services companies. It's a very common thing we've seen, Ian, where someone starts a home services company. Brigham's one, Bodie is another. Many such cases where they start a home services company and then learn a lot about how to get leads for a home services company and convert that into a digital business. And I want to talk about why you think that is during our conversation, why people kind of switch business models there. But before we get into that, Ian, thanks so much for coming on. Tell me, us, the audience, a little bit about your background, and then we can kind of get into the details.
Yeah, Brian, appreciate you having me on here too, man. I know we've been connected on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, for a while now.
For sure.
Yeah, man. So to anyone watching, my name's Ian, obviously based out of Nashville, Tennessee. I have several cleaning companies myself. So my business partner and I run them in Tennessee and North Carolina and even Alabama. Um, and yeah, man. So we started off just doing it ourselves. Launching. Obviously, we hire contractors and W-2 employees. Um, and you start posting about your findings and what you're doing, and you start sharing a lot of tips and stuff online, and people want help. Hey, how'd you do this? And how'd you do that? And so about like a year and a half into us owning the cleaning companies, people started asking, hey, like, who do you use for SEO? Well, I actually do it in house. Let's hop on a call, right? And so we start talking about it there. And then obviously still running the cleaning companies, we wanted a lot of larger deals, a lot of commercial contracts, right? Apartment complexes, janitorial for office buildings, schools, like you name it. And so we started doing a lot of cold email outreach to get those. Obviously, word gets out with that too. People want help with that, and it's kind of morphed into this agency where we're helping a lot of cleaning companies, landscaping, pest control. We even work with like catering companies and CPAs now. I mean, there's a whole lot of different avenues that we can do for cold email, at least. But yeah, man, that's a little bit about me. Yeah, so cleaning companies kind of jumped into the agency game, and it's been going awesome.
Yeah, I think I spent a lot of time doing cold email, whether it was building the SDR team at SaaS companies, and I had my own cold email agency. And today for Lead Truffle, my SaaS company, cold emails is probably our main growth channel. Frankly, I think it's a really good channel when you're new. You don't have that brand recognition. If you do it right, you can get some good replies more immediately than other channels like SEO that take a long time to build. So cold email is near and dear to my heart. It's not a channel I would necessarily think about for a home services company, although we've talked to a lot of people like Ty the Stump Guy and JD and some other folks from X, and they do more of a Kent at Swift Demo. They do more of like a B2B home services company. So what's your perspective on cold email? What industries does it work well for? And how do you use cold email for home services?
Yeah, it's a great question. So in the game of cold email, you have all these agencies that are like blasting out these offers, whether it's like podcast agency or whatever it may be, right? So you have all these different like B2B where they kind of target executives at these large companies to do this, that, and the other. Thing is with home services, like a cleaning company, you have the opportunity to just stay in residential or you can do commercial, right? So for us, for example, and I'll parlay this into kind of how it's super useful, but if you're a residential cleaning company and you kind of just want to stay in your lane for residential, there's several opportunities you can go by building B2B relationships, but still doing kind of residential cleaning. And so this is like one of the first things I found out whenever I started my cleaning company is my girlfriend at the time, so my wife now, was like, how about we go around all these apartment complexes, right? Because we can go in there and there's 500 doors. We can put up our door hangers. I was like, that's a genius idea. We walk in and they're like, yeah, no, you're not putting anything on the doors. So we immediately get shot down. But we turn around and find out they're like, well, we do have a company that does do our turnovers, right? You get to move in, move out cleanings. And I'd like to see if you guys wouldn't mind, giving us a quote for that. He starts asking me some questions about insurance, this, that, and the other. I mean, it was like my first month. So I didn't have any of that stuff and I got disqualified, but it immediately opened up my eyes to, the B2B relationships where I could still do residential cleaning, right? Because move in, move out cleans of a one bed, one bath is the same as if I'm doing it for a house, right? And so that's the same for apartment complexes. If you contact realtors, if you go to retirement facilities, like these places have turnover for kind of like resi commercial units. And so we started doing a lot of outreach to those. But then you find out, like, why can't we do a small office? And so you start scraping a bunch of leads around the city, and you find out, a lot of these smaller companies need a cleaning service, but their inbox is full of people offering them SEO or this or that and the other paid ads, right? But they need a cleaning service. And so it's a lot less, I'd say, busy in their inbox. And so if we contact them and say, hey, just pass by your facility, we clean for others in the area, would an estimate help? Right? That it gets through all the noise, I guess, is the easiest way to
Yeah,
say
no,
it.
I'm envious because Ty was showing me his like cold email reply rates, and I'm like, the difference between, for example, what I do is I do software. And so, you're pretty much always building something new. And particularly, we're building an AI company. So it's very new, right? This stuff didn't exist 6 months ago. And so you're trying to almost create demand in a certain sense. Whereas what Ty was showing me, he's like, hey, there's these contractors, like they're doing work. They need someone to grind the stumps. Like there just is demand. It just is what it is. And a lot of people that do it aren't great at it. So tapping into something where it's like it's not so much about creating demand, like we know people need this. For example, we know people need their house cleaned. The game is more about like, can you get in front of the right types of leads? Can you stay on top of them? I get envious as a SaaS guy because I'm like, man, that
Yeah.
seems nice compared to like, hey, here's this new technology that didn't work 6 months ago that we know is pretty powerful, but there's this whole ladder of like, persuading and convincing and educating people that they need it. Whereas from the outside looking in, it's like obviously people need the apartments at their apartment building cleaned.
Yeah. And like you have like, especially in the SaaS game, and like for our cold email offer, we're constantly coming up with new scripts and thinking of angles and targeting and stuff like that. So I definitely get it. It's like when you're coming at it from the cleaning angle, you also have to think about it from the perspective of the kind of person who responds is the kind of person who buys cleaning for their office. So if you can hit them at that time when there's a pain point,
Yeah.
more than likely, you're pretty much the only cleaning company who hit them up. And so, yeah, it's a lot easier to close and things like that. So,
What other types of business models in the home services world have you seen cold email work well for? Is it just cleaning, or have you seen it work well for other types of businesses?
yeah, I'd say landscaping is really, really good. Um, Also, pressure washing. We work with a lot of the Rolling Suds franchisees. Recently, we found out that brickwork is like a really good niche because a lot of contractors, for example, they like think about a GC, they hire subs for all these different projects they do. And so if they build a lot with brickwork guys can come in and land some. I mean, one of our clients has got like a $60,000 proposal out from something we sent out.
Now, is the target for home services cold email? Is it always going to be general contractors? Is it talk to me about who? Because I think that's the big idea. It's like, oh, when you think home services, you think individual homeowners. Talk to me about who it is that you're typically targeting for these different types of businesses.
Yeah, so it really differs based off of the industry, but also kind of like the client's wants. Some people think of different angles, but just speaking to like the cleaning angle, right? You can go, I mean, starting with the resi commercial stuff, realtors, apartment complexes, retirement facilities. And then you can kind of tap into a lot of like pretty much any commercial building, like schools, salons, dental therapy offices, chiropractors, um, funeral homes. I mean, we can pretty much go after really anything. It just really depends on the angle. Yeah.
Let's talk tech stack. I'm a Clay aficionado. I built my agency on top of Clay. Are you familiar with Clay? Yeah. Um, Heavy on Clay. Worked with them, collaborated with them. Know a bunch of people over there. So I'm a Clay plus instantly. Really, that's I have some other ancillary tools around that, but that's for me the bulk of it. We do a lot of scraping through different proxies to get lists. But what's your tech stack, Ian? How do you stand up outbound for your clients?
Yeah. So it's actually a lot of proprietary tools that we use. So we actually developed a lot. So we have a CTO. He's really, really awesome. So we actually developed a scraper. So the way that we get data, and I actually use this as a little bit of like a selling point at some of my calls, tell people we don't pull from Apollo. We don't pull from Zoom Info. list kit or any
But
other
I don't
like
even think you could pull from Apollo. Like, does Apollo have like dentists in Oklahoma? Probably
so
not.
that's the problem, right? So
Yeah.
like a lot of people who try to do it themselves, they'll go out on Instantly, they'll
Yeah.
try to pull some stuff on Apollo.
Yeah.
But the problem is a lot of those databases are really good. Okay, they're really good, but it's nationally. Okay,
And
they're
tech
not
and
going to have,
finance and yeah.
yeah, like they're not going to have a small construction company who does, well, I guess if I say small, like a $10 million a year construction company guy who doesn't even have a LinkedIn, right? Like he's not going to be on there. So the way it works is we scrape Google Maps.
Yep.
So scrape Google Maps. We built a few AI agents. So we go to the business entity search for the state, try to find the business. If we can find the business, try to find the owner. If we can find the owner, we try a bunch of different variations to try to find their email address. And so we get a lot of emails that are like Bryan at versus sales at for the same company, which also results in a lot higher response rate. So yeah, we built the scraper. We also built our tool on top of Smart Lead. So it's pretty native to if anyone's like kind of familiar with Smart Lead. We just kind of handle everything for our clients though. So we do all the scraping, all the scripting, all the sending, all the management. Yeah.
I used Smartlead for a while for my agency, man, and I couldn't deal with it anymore. But I've realized that a lot of people that use it like aren't even necessarily logging into the UI of Smartlead all the time. They're more doing like API based stuff. And where I was using it is just like an end user, so I switched over to Instantly. But I don't really know if I was even ICP for Smartlead because I was doing it all by clicking through the UI, which I found Instantly to be a lot better. What angles have you seen working? Because also, for those listening, when you think of cold email, and you can speak to this, it's like the most probably high value thing would be for someone to say, hey, do you want to take a meeting with me to learn about my products and services? That's one end of the spectrum. And then the other end of the spectrum is what I've seen other people do, which is like, hey, is this the right email for your business? And that's going to have like a super high reply rate, but like, are those replies really going to be leading to sales? So you have this like huge spectrum of offers. Hey, can I send you this lead magnet? Hey, can I send you a proposal? Can I send you a video about what we do? What offers are you seeing working for home services, Ian?
Yeah. So like for any given campaign, we probably have like 15 variants going on. So we try every angle, but most of ours kind of align with like direct, like a really direct CTA. Like, could an estimate help? Can I share more info about us? Right? When's a good time for me to swing by? All you have to do is send me square footage and the number of bathrooms. I can send you over a quote. Right? Things that are just like really direct to the point. And then we get a little bit like looser with our follow ups, but most of the time the direct one is the first email in the sequence, super direct, and most of the time that's where we get our responses from.
How do you then bridge the gap from yes, I want to estimate, here's the estimate, or yes, a quote, a quote would be great. I think a lot of people get there's a lot of value lost, right? We just generated 25 positive replies, we sent 25 estimates, and now I think a lot of people are like, oh, the cold email worked, it's done. Well, actually going from that point to I'm now cleaning this person's house and they're paying me money is like another marathon. So what's your process from positive reply to, booking the job?
I love this question. Okay. You have to be a maniac. Okay. That's the real answer.
Yeah.
I tell people, and I give this advice to our clients every single time I'm onboarding them, is you have a few options in the platform, right? So you can reply directly in the platform from like the lookalike domain, or you can forward it to your main domain, kind of respond from there. Or the third option is you can click on the contact and find the phone number. Okay. Every single time that a client gets a lead in there, I tell them, call them up. Okay. Because if someone says, yes, you can swing by, or yeah, like, yes, I'm interested, right? If you just reply back and like, you'll see people using like chat GPT responses, like, here's what it's like, it looks like a flyer with like emojis and stuff. It's like, that's not going to close. So my personal kind of way of going about it is when I get a response, it's like, yes, I'm interested. And it's a 4,500 square foot gym, right? And they want it weekly. I just give them a call and I'll say, hey, Bryan, it's Ian. We were just kind of emailing back and forth about cleaning. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, perfect. When's a good time for me to come by this afternoon so I can do a walkthrough? Right? Straight to the point, just the same as a CTA was, right? Can I come give an estimate? I'm calling them. So that's my perspective. I feel like you should call them. You'll probably have a lot more missed opportunities if you just try to respond via email.
Yeah, and I think that's another way to think about cold emails. Like it is a direct response channel, but in a lot of ways, the value is that it's generating this initial signal that you can then take to other channels like the phone and in person, and not necessarily like, oh, yeah, I'm just going to send cold email and then my calendar is going to fill up. It's actually, no, this is just like a good signal for you to then take to these other places and convert. Um, yeah, any other thoughts on cold email, Ian? Any tips, tricks, or tactics we missed there? Anything else you'd share with folks who are listening? Like, dang, I want to start using cold email for my business.
Well, number one, book a call with the link below. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'd say like a big tip too, if like, especially, because I'm sure there's probably some people who have agencies or, software, whatever you're trying to sell or through cold email, something that we've done, right? So there's like a big, a lot of people say that you shouldn't send links over email, and like largely that is true, especially for new domains. But there's a little tip that I found. Like once I get a domain and email address warmed up for like 3 to 4 months, I'll start plugging my demo link in my signature. And so like if you own an agency or something like that, and you have like really like obviously great deliverability scores and they're aged, like feel free to like try out like one of the variants, like put in the demo link. Like we wake up every day to like three demos booked, just from that alone. So that can kind of help convert too, because some people, they don't even ever respond, but they'll go and they'll book the demo. So that's just a fun little tidbit that I throw in there. Um, Other than that, if you're going to do local cold email, just throwing in something about how, I just drove by, right? Because a lot of people think they just have to kind of make it generic. But like if you are local, it's like, hey, I just had a team passing by your space, right? Go at it like that. So, yeah.
That made me think about scale. So it's hard to say for every client, but I think one of the benefits of cold email is how scalable it is, and it's relatively, economic. You don't need to spend you can spend $1,000, but you can send like a lot of cold emails for like not that much money compared to, let's say, CPMs on a social platform. Um, when setting up inboxes for your own business or for a client, like what are we talking? 5 inboxes, sending 10 emails a day, 500 inboxes. What's volume look like in your world?
Yeah. So it really depends. I guess it's so funny. Like it really depends, but typically we'll buy like 5 inboxes, 2 to 3 sending accounts per domain. On average, though, we're only sending anywhere around 2,000 to 4,000 emails a month per client, to generate them anywhere between 8 to 12 like warm, qualified, billable leads. So yeah, but it really depends, right? So like for example, just a few months ago, so I took on a pressure washing company in Fort Worth. I took on a pressure washing company in Toronto. Same week, same targeting, same script, pretty much everything almost identical. The guy in Toronto got 15 leads in 2 weeks from, I guess a couple of 1,000 to 2,000 emails sent. Guy in Fort Worth got one, right? So it really, really depends based off of where you are. So I guess volume, it's like we don't have to send as much in some markets compared to others.
Makes
So
sense.
yeah.
Outside of cold email, I know that's the focus, but what other channels, tactics, marketing approaches are you seeing work well for yourself, for your clients? Anything else that's getting you excited where there's maybe some alpha from a marketing perspective?
Yeah. So like my angle, and this is where I put all my money, right? So I don't spend any money on paid ads right now. We have in the past. Obviously, they work like Google SA. Like if you're new, like crank it up. Like it's going to be expensive, but like you're not ranked, so you need calls to come in. Um, for me, so we do SEO, we do cold email. So SEO gets the inbound residential coming in, and like the occasional commercial, but mostly inbound residential. Then we do the cold email side to generate, you know, our large commercial stuff. I'd say on the SEO side, there's a lot of people who are ignoring Reddit. It's like if you just like look up on your browser and you type in house cleaning service and then whatever city and then Reddit, you'll find all of these threads within your city that people are obviously asking about. Hey, do you have a local cleaning company recommendation here in Austin? Right. If you do that, you'll see all these threads. And so if you're a local business owner, I mean, that's just like, I mean, why not? I mean, that's super easy. And so we get a decent amount of leads off of Reddit within the markets we operate now. So I'd say like that's probably the easiest thing, like least amount of spend that you can. It's $0 to be able to generate. Honestly, it's social proof, but also inbound leads.
And correct me if I'm wrong with Reddit. The idea is that someone posted 2 years ago, hey, is there a good cleaning company in Austin? And then you go comment on that thread such that when people in the future are searching and find that Reddit thread because Reddit ranks so well, they'll see your post or your comment rather. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah. Because if this is the way you can find all the threads, like if you just type in house cleaning service Austin Reddit, you'll find all the threads. But if someone's just typing in house cleaning service near me, because Reddit ranks so high, those threads do rank just within the normal searches. So if you can at least get on those threads, that's good. If you can get to the top of those through having customers upvote your recommendation, that's even better.
Love it, Ian. For folks that are hearing this and saying, "All right, I'm ready. I want to do some cold email for my home services business." Where can people contact you? Where can people check out House Pro Digital? Yeah, where can folks connect?
Yeah. So it's just houseproddigital.com. Or you can check me out where Bryan and I connected on X. So it's x.com/IANNCUSHING. On there, post it pretty frequently with a lot of like things that we're doing for the cleaning companies, but also a lot of lead examples for stuff that we're generating from cold email.
All
Yeah.
right, Ian.
Happy to be here.
Appreciate you coming on, man. Thanks.
Thanks, Bryan. Nice to meet you, man.